Oh.
Sorry, in the
Meet
meantime,
locals
I
instead
just
of
forgot to
tourists.
record the Zoom session. If you're not, don't worry about the face or thing like that. The idea is to have the content of what we are sharing to people who can't access today for that. So if you're not okay with having your face in the Zoom meeting, you can hide yourself, don't worry. But it's in order to share the content of our workshops after for missing ones. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Do you know Use It? We're the people making city maps for young travelers. The Use It maps are free, and they contain no publicity at all. There are 30 Use It cities all over Europe, with more of us joining every month. Hey, you've probably used one of the maps yourself. And now we want to create the smartphone version. We know there are plenty of city apps out there already, and we know that apps are so passé, but this one is going to be different. Why? Because it will work offline. Because it holds a real selection of cheap places to eat, weird sightseeing, and bars where you meet locals instead of tourists. The selection is made by young people who really live in the city and know where to go. And it's not just about sipping cappuccinos and clubbing, but about how to really act like a local. What makes a city unique? What are the weird local habits? And how many kisses should you give? It's this kind of no-nonsense, no-bullshit approach that makes Use It Maps unique. And the app is going to do just the same, but on a small screen. Don't worry, we're not going to stop making the paper maps, but at least you can easily download this app everywhere and start reading and selecting a few spots on the plane already. The application will be free for everybody, of course, because, after all, we are still hippies, but we need your money to create it. Thank you, boys and girls. We love you too.
Yeah. So that's the crowdfunding video. What did we learn from it? We learned that, well, first of all, in 2014, we still used YOLO. Don't think we do that anymore. In 2014, apps were considered passé already, which I found interesting to see. But they said the app was made to be used offline and considered unique in that way. The app was really meant to mirror the Use It spirit, but on a small screen. And it was never meant to replace the paper maps, as they showed with the tree, which I also found interesting. And the app was free. To build it, Nicolas Marichal, he made a storyboard for the app builders. The whole document of this, I will be making available in a seminar documents folder if people are interested in this, because it's quite nice to see. It's a very detailed document in which he wrote exactly what they wanted to do. There's also a lot of technical talk. That's why I'm leaving it to the people who can read technical talk. So I will make it available. As you can see on the left, a splash screen was built at the beginning. So Use It Europe and made by locals for young travelers, no nonsense, works offline, was included. And the city overview on the right, the cities were seen in a list. There was a download button, so you can click it. If you download it, you saw the icon of the city, and then if there's an update, there would be an update button. Pretty simple. The city map, it had 4 zoom levels. I put the numbers here for people who know. And a list, so you could save places, which is something that I personally really like. So you could prepare yourself. You also saw it in the video. It was really built for that as well, to already on the plane or however you travel, to already select stuff you want to see. And there was the walk the dog, if you still remember it, some of you. The idea of walk the dog was really cute. I don't know how many people did it, but there was a little dog walking through the map. And the idea was if you would all go to the dog, you would meet other Use It people and you would walk the dog together. That was the idea. What it eventually looked like. I have a link here that I will click and show you. There's a blog. Is it yours, Matt? The Lolly's Home blog? Or no? No, okay. Because it's German, I wasn't sure. These are images of what the practice of what you just, the theory of the theory you just saw. So Dresden and Ghent are downloaded here, so available offline. There are update buttons because there's an update for the map. And this is the map part. All the maps look the same, which of course is different from the paper version, where we would all draw our own maps. These are the categories. And if you clicked on something and saw the text, it had also that color, as you can see on top. So this is green because it's C. And this is another one. You could see the tourist office, and also like we do on the maps sometimes the practical info, so supermarkets, ATMs, bike rental. Another image. There was a 5 minutes of history and an act like a local. So that was totally still as it is on the paper maps. There's a surroundings part. It's kind of like the where to next, which on the map we are reinventing it, I would say. And here's the dog, I think. Yeah, that's the line of the dog, the purple line. So the dog had its set route. It would walk his round every day. Does anybody remember the name of the dog? It had a name. Eddie? I don't know. It has a name. Well, I will find out. So this is what we had on the front end. I need to find my mouse to click. Yeah. Use of the app. This is the Android information. We don't have this for iOS. You see, and this is something that I always found interesting. It was used a lot in the US. So people actually did what happened in the video, sit on the plane and prepare for the Europe trip. Then Germany, United Kingdom, Belgium, and France. We had quite some downloads, if you can see below. For iOS, 69,608.
Jozien, we are not seeing, we are just seeing still the blog. Sorry.
Oh, really? That's weird because
I see the usage thing.
I can see the use of the Android app as well.
Oh, then
Okay,
yours
weird.
is stuck, Adrian.
It
Mine is
works for
stuck.
me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No worries. And then there's a little bit less for Android, but these are numbers from 2020 as well. Because as Matt pointed out just now, the Android app went first, as in crashed first. How it worked. On the back end, the map makers who made the paper maps, like Arne, which we will get to shortly, had to fill the app. For that, they had to take photos. And of course, photos are not part of making the paper map. And even though it doesn't seem like a big job, it turned out to be a little bit for people to go to all the places and take photos. For me, at least, within Use It Europe, we didn't have photos of everything in the process of making the map, so we had to do that separately. In my recollection, but the old timers can correct me on this, it was never really mandatory to also fill the app when you made a paper map. I'm pretty sure there's quite some cities who published the map, didn't fill the app. That is something that happened in that time, and there was quite some extra work. I'm pointing that out not to complain or whatever, because it will always be extra work, but it is something that we heard back at the time, that people found it didn't always fill it. So we didn't always have all the maps that we had in paper also in the app. I wrote here what we think we want, because we are all here to talk about what we want. And for us in Digit, and also for us in Use It, everything is still open. We're starting with a clean slate. However, there are some things that we've heard back that we liked about the old app, and stuff that we really want to keep. It should be available offline because of the American thing that I showed you before. Easier to update. Android and iOS, I think both. Oh, there's a weird constantly strive. I don't think my PowerPoint saved really well. So that's Lauren Ipsum text, but the titles are there. Gather statistics. We've seen in the survey that statistics are important, and we have been missing them over the last few years. We could maybe integrate it with the website better and add something to the paper maps. So not just be a separate thing, but actually add something. That is something we've been thinking about. So for the more in-depth part, I would like to, I'll stop sharing. Give the floor to Matt, who you already heard me asking if the iOS app still worked. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the app?
So I had nothing to do with the iOS version.
Okay.
How it went down is that there was originally an iOS version. I guess the crowdfunding thing that Nicholas did. Basically, they took them. From my understanding, what happened is they took the money from that and they had some company make an iOS version of the app. Like they paid them a bunch of money and they kind of just made it. And then at some point, I'm not an iPhone user. I came across one of the maps in Prague and I really liked it. And I was wondering, oh, this would be really cool if we had an Android version. So I started to work on the Android version of that. At the time, there was basically 2 other people who said they were going to work on it. I don't know. I saw in here, there's Piotr M. I don't know if that's the same person, but there was one person who I think was going to help us, Piotr Mushka or something.
That's the same one.
Aha, okay, good. Yeah, because I think the use it code for the app is still in one of his GitLab repos. Anyways, yeah, so he made essentially the space for us to make the app. And then there was another guy, Willem, who was also helping me write the Android version of the app. But basically, yeah, high level timeline is there was some funding, crowdsourcing. With that, they made the iOS version of the app. And then I came along and we essentially tried to replicate it as much as possible on the Android side so that it was like a 1-to-1 sort of match to whatever the iOS version was. I basically just had Nicholas send us some screenshots and videos so that we could try and make a duplicate of it. We put it in the Play Store and it seemed there were like little issues that would occasionally happen, but at some point Android made some update and it was something with like a newer version of Android that I couldn't get on my phone, and it was hard for me to replicate. So it showed us in the statistics online that the Android app was crashing on a bunch of people's phones. So we took it off the Play Store just Because the worst thing that can happen is like you have a really bad app and then everybody's like really pissed about it and associates it with the company itself, right? So we took it off the Play Store and basically it hasn't been put back up since then. It could be that some small changes in the code would make everything work again on the Android side, but yeah, that was essentially the timeline of what happened. Yeah. Was that a good overview? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And can you tell us a little bit more about what crashed? Like what, because it was relatively new. So mostly to look at the future, how can we avoid that happening again?
Well, so I mean, Android at times will, like when a new version comes out, they change like how permissions and stuff work. And so what probably was happening is that a newer version was released and then people with newer smartphones were downloading the app and trying to use it. And then because we had written for an older version of Android, it was crashing on the newer versions of the phone. Something like that is probably what was happening because there was a change in how Android fundamentally works. This stuff changes over time. And it's really hard to have an app where you don't have somebody that's constantly like keeping up to date with these little things and maintaining it. That's why it's hard to like make an app and then never change it unless it's really simple. I mean, the biggest thing is that we were, using GPS data. So there's a lot of permission stuff involved with that. And then there was like downloading a bunch of stuff from the internet too. And again, that's like kind of talking to the internet and back. Yeah, that's another thing where the permissions come into play. So yeah, stuff you need to be cognizant of. The other thing that should be in like the forefront of your mind is that the dog. Like, I don't know how easy or if it's a good idea to bring it back now. Like, I'm pretty sure the Play Store wouldn't like you to put an app there where it's like, hey, everybody meet up at this location. Like, that seems like a legal minefield to try and do. So I would stay away from the dog idea if we did
It
that.
were simpler times.
Yeah.
I
Because
see that in
nowadays-
everything that's written about it. Yeah.
Because now when you put it on the Play Store, there's like a million questionnaires you have to go through. Like, is this data friendly for kids? Could this expose somebody's location? Blah, 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 blah. And there's all these kinds of questions you have to go through. And yeah, the dog thing, yeah, I'm not so sure that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that's clear. And do you have any other tips now that we are starting to, well, we're saying an app all the time, but I also started talking about at the beginning that in 2014 already, 14, sorry, English, already people said maybe an app is old. So we are also exploring other routes. But if we will make an app again, do you have any tips for us? Something that we should, except for not include the dog, which I've noted.
I mean, the biggest thing is making sure that the data is structured in a common way, that there's kind of from like the beginning on that all the data for all the cities is structured the same way. Because one of the problems was there were cities that had online versions, right, that we couldn't put into the map because of basically formatting issues or something. So if everybody agrees on like a structure for how the data is, then in principle, it should be easy to make the iOS app, make the Android app, and make the web version. The other thing you can think about, depending on like how technically proficient the people that write the app are, like, is if you could have a common code base to work on Android and iOS. It's like one of those things, it sounds easier because then there's only one code base to work on, but then you need to have the right people that know how those tools work, essentially. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. By the way, if you have questions, please note them, and then we can do in the Q&A, you can direct them at any of the speakers, just so you know. Arne, you use the app from the users, mapmaker user side. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
I also used it as a visitor of the usage cities, and I used it exactly in that way because it always takes some time before you find a map and have it in your hands. So I did use the app to go exploring beforehand. And then when I had to, when we were making the map, like you said, Jozien, it wasn't that it was that really hard work to fill the app, but it was frustration because we weren't prepared for it. Because you are making the map, you are doing everything you are told, which is necessary to make the map, and then finally the map is there, and you have a big celebration, and then oh yeah, you have to fill the app, and then you find out that you need more information, that you need opening hours and like coordinates and a URL and photos. So this is and especially getting the photos at the time was difficult. It took a lot of time, and if we would have known beforehand, then we could have then started including this in the research and the process of making the map to collect the other data and the photos while we were making the map. This would have been a lot easier. This was just never on top of mind of it wasn't in the documents, and it wasn't something that we were told when making the map. This came as a surprise. So that was a bit of the frustration with the first map. Then with the second map, then we already knew this, and then this was it wasn't such a hassle to fill the app for the second map. There was also something interesting with the second map, because then we updated the new locations for the app, and then we found out, we can the locations that weren't part of the second map but were part of the first map, we could leave them up in the app, and there was nothing. There was no one who said, "Oh, you can't do this." So there was. You say, "Oh, will we leave the locations we weren't part of the second map because you have just so much room on the map."
Yeah.
And then
so basically, sorry.
Yeah, we could make a decision. It's not in the second map, but we can leave it in the app. Should we do this or not?
Yeah. So basically,
so this is why
saying...
the Android app broke, right? He's the one that broke it, right? Yeah. That was another problem. Yeah, no, just kidding.
Yeah, so basically, you're also saying that at the time we didn't really also have a digital mindset where we prepared people for what was coming.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the instructions and the very nice leaflets of use it to help the starting cities. So the app was hardly mentioned. It was mentioned one time that there was the same information in the app as in the maps. But in fact, you needed more information for the app, so you weren't prepared. So if you make the whole process of making the map involve what you need for the app, that would be preferable.
Yeah. And do you have any tips from the mapmaker user side or from the visitor user side of things we should keep in mind when we're making a new one?
Yeah, just what I said. And when I was making the map, and I did collect all the information in a spreadsheet, and it would have been really nice if I could have just uploaded like a CSV instead of cutting and pasting all the information into the back end.
So for the less technical people among us, you mean make a formatted spreadsheet that people can upload all in the same format, so you don't have to do it by hand?
Would have been nice for me because I like to work in spreadsheets, but that's not for everyone.
No, that's true. Yep. Then the time is going so fast. We go to Pavel, who's talking about the website before we go to Q&A and brainstorm?
Okay. I would like to just tell you that I'm still having the Android version of Use It, and it's still working because it's on my phone, and it's I only have 3 cities downloaded, but it's working still fine. So
As long as you keep it offline.
yeah, so I cannot change the phone right now because otherwise I will lose it. So about the web, I'm not the creator of the web. The Bram was the creator. I was trying to find in the web archive how old is the web, and it looks like it's from 2012. And maybe I can try and send you a link, and if you have a look on this link, you will see that it looks exactly the same as it now. Sorry, I will.
I'm sharing the screen as it looks now, and Pavel
Okay.
is sending a link from before.
So even it's pretty old, the website. I think it's still working in a way it should. So it still has the most important information. You can still see the actual map, and I think that this should also be key part for the new website, like how to present the map, to be able to see the map on the screen, to be able maybe download it even and use it on your screen, this downloaded version. I think not all people know where the city are, so having the map and the map of Europe and explaining where the city is actually located, it's also, or I personally still like enjoy it. And the Bram, the programmer, was also taking care of like the maintaining the website. So every change needed to be done was done by him, and he was also providing the hosting services for the website and also for the database, which was used for this Android and iOS application. Once there were changes in Use It Europe, I was asked to like take this old website and move it to a new hosting. At that time, we were telling each other it will be just for a few months, and those few months are, I think, 3 years now already. But you can see that it's still working. I think from last week or 2 weeks ago, we found that there is some kind of issue already with actually locating those cities on the map, because it's using Google Maps, and probably Google change again some policies or something, and I didn't have the time to really explore it if it's possible to fix it, or we are definitely hitting the wall and we couldn't go around the wall anymore. Yeah, so that's what, and even if it's pretty old, if you open it on a mobile, it's working, or it's like adapting to the small screen. So hopefully, if there will be a new website, I like wish that the new website will be with us for next 10 years without any big changes.
And Pavel, can you tell us a bit more about, because I feel we've had some more limitations than only the map part. There's stuff we wanted and that we couldn't do.
Yes.
Do you remember any of those?
Yeah, there is definitely like the website was built using programming language which is called PHP, and it was built for version 5, I think, or supported for this version, and the version is not supported anymore. So it's quite hard to do any changes, because usually on the technical side of this web hosting, they are supporting also the latest versions of the PHP. So it's not that easy, because even I was a little bit trying to use our hosting and set up a new web page, but it was not possible because we need to still support the old version of the PHP, and if there will be a new website, we also need to consider where it will be hosted, and because we will need to have some new hosting. It will not be possible to use the same infrastructure as we are using right now.
All right. Let me see. Thank you, Pavel. Is there anything you would like to add about the website, or are you there?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it is now, time to go
let
to
me
the
bring up
Q&A.
one point I should have talked about.
Okay.
So a while ago when we were making the maps, I believe that we had like offline Mapbox data. And one of the things we talked about a long time ago was whether to use Google Maps or something inside the app. And the sticking point is essentially, it's one of those things where like the first 10,000 downloads, I don't know what it is. It's like free to do that. And then afterwards you have to start like paying for it. And obviously that's not something we wanted to do. So that's why I think that we were using like Mapbox data or something at that point, essentially like OpenStreetMaps or something along those lines. So yeah, that's another consideration. Probably the website's not getting enough traffic that it's like triggering something, but yeah, something to keep in mind.
Yeah, thank you. First, I would like to see if there's any questions for either me, Matt, Arno, or Pavel, or something that came up in your head that you want to share.
I think I have a question.
Okay.
Cool.
Sorry,
Let's
it's
do
just,
Ada first and then Lorenzo. Is that
yeah,
okay?
my question is just really quick. It's just because I'm late. I was late, which I'm really sorry for. And
Don't worry.
I don't know if I missed something really important that would make me understand more. So if there's any way to maybe contact you afterwards and, collect some info that I missed, that would be very useful to me.
Of course, we will also share all the materials later.
Great. Okay.
So you can read stuff. So
Okay.
don't worry, but you can
and
always
the recording as well.
also that.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Lorenzo?
So I have both two questions. So the first one was also about if we can have the link of the video of the Use It app, which is very nice. And the second one was just something I thought about. As a non-profit organization, wouldn't it be or would it be a juridical problem to take photos of places and additional info such as opening hours, etc., from Google at that time for the app?
Does anyone know how to answer this?
I think if it's public information that is on Google Maps and etc., we shouldn't have any issues, and it's not like we are using those to shame them or do anything illegal, or we are just sharing information that is already available, if that's your question.
But I do understand that the fact it would have been easier to first inform everyone that those info would be necessary. But yeah, I think it could have been done by taking infos from Google afterwards as well.
Yeah, it is when we made the first map and we put the info into the backend for the app, we took most of the opening hours from Google. At that time, not every business had their opening hours on Google yet. That wasn't really like, it was like 40% of businesses, so you still had to go to a website or maybe sometimes even to the place itself to find out.
Totally right on this point, yeah.
Yeah, so that has definitely changed. It is far easier to find opening hours today. And yeah, photos was difficult because you couldn't just grab photos from the web. You really had to make your own photographs. So that was a bit more time intensive. You had to go there at the when there was also enough light and sun to take a good picture. There was the most time intensive part. Yeah.
I think Mariette was next.
Yeah, I just wanted to bounce on this question and for my feedback about filling in the app for the 2019 map of Nantes. I share the burden of the photo thing in the app, but the idea I remember was also to have the use it vibe in the photo, not to have the official promotion of the spot, but really what is interesting for us. In Nantes we have somewhere where the toilet, the bathroom are the masterpiece, so that's not what is on the website or everything, but this is the thing we say to people, come here to see that. So that was also the use it vibe, but such a burden after publishing the map to have to go to every place where you want before to check the hours and the photo. Yes, something about that.
I don't know, Pascal?
Yes, I also wanted to continue down that line of thinking. Well, not the non-line of thinking, but with Google locations. I am not sure what it's like for opening times, but I would assume that it's a kind of similar policy that Google has. We have had this experience with Google Street View, incorporating that into something that would be published. And generally, I think Google's policy is that as long as you include the copyright of, for instance, then Street View, it's fine as long as you acknowledge that it's Google's. I'm not sure to what extent that would apply to the opening times, but I would assume that Google is far too busy to get a lawsuit against every one of these little thingies. So I'm quite sure they have a policy on that we can look up.
Eva?
The same sort of reaction. So I will use this time also to invite you for the next seminar, because this is an issue that I talked about with Mepotic, who are going like experts from our team, Prague team. It's a startup that actually is involved in community mapping, and they provide one of the tools which you can use and then embed in your maps in your website. So come 14th of October, and I actually asked them about this, and what they showed me was an example of the project that they did for Prague City Tourism or Czech Tourism as their project, like fighting kind of over tourism. So they were in a real time downloading data from Google, because you see if you Google the location, sometimes it shows at what time there's the most people, like this graph, if you saw it sometimes, and they've managed to have it within their program, but technically it was pretty complicated. And actually Google, it's contrary what Pascal said, like they tend to make it harder for you. It's somehow possible, like it was technically possible, but if the traffic is higher, then it's a problem. So just an experience from them. You can ask them.
All right, we will next time. Okay, before we go to the asking you for your input, and there's still room for questions later, and you can always approach us. We're very approachable. Mariette would really like a screenshot of your faces. So could you, before people maybe have to leave, show us your face if you're here? Yay, I see faces. Not
By the
everyone.
way, there was someone called Theodora, and she joined and then left immediately. So if you can ask her to join again for her face.
I will send her an email. So I'm giving it a few more seconds. Everyone who's hearing us, show your face. Okay. Well, we're quickly. Oh, there's Theodora. She's in the waiting room. I don't know.
This is what
There
we
she
call
is.
timing.
Yeah. Okay, so Mariette, you take the screenshot and I'll prepare the rest. You should count down. Oh, you did it already. Okay. Well, that was quick. Okay, so now I build a Jamboard. Does everybody know what a Jamboard is? I'm putting the link in the chat and also sharing the screen. This is a tool with which you can here take sticky notes and put them, as you can see here, type here, on this paper. Let's say it's a paper. And our first question is, after hearing all this, and also from your own experience, what do we want from a new app? So first, the positive. What do we want? And then later, I'm going to ask you what we don't want. So you don't have to put any no's here.
To be honest, I have one proposition.
Yeah.
I would really like to explore the possibility of putting our created maps, like the graphical ones, into the application, because I
Mhm.
believe it could be done, and it's a really big strength of the paper maps, the design and the whole artistic aspect of the map. And I think it was missing in the previous versions of the online version of the map.
Yeah.
And I really believe it should be part of the online experience as well. Of
Yeah,
course,
great.
if possible.
Yeah. Can you also write it down just for us not to forget? But it's a great suggestion.
I believe I don't have the editing rights.
Oh, you don't? Oh, other people do. That's weird.
Sorry, maybe wrong email.
I had the same
No, it
idea,
could be.
so I wrote it down.
And that as well.
That is really strange. I will try to make a new link.
Yeah, I also can't.
Because some people can. That's weird. Maybe that's the ticket people. I will try again.
I also cannot add any sticky notes.
And with this, the new link. All these years of online meetings, and still we have these problems. Somebody's moving my bubble.
And now it's possible. Thank you.
It's okay. Great.
Yeah, thanks.
I have a question. So the next version of the apps and like website is essentially the funding there to hire people to do that, or is it going to be more or less like just whoever can contributes to it, or what's the thinking there?
I'm going to give this to Eva. I'm technically leading, but I jumped on the project later, and I don't want to say anything that's not true. So I'll give it to Eva.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, so the previous version of the app, the iOS version, essentially there was the fundraising to pay for it, and there was just like a shop of they hired a company basically to make the iOS app, and then the Android one we kind of just like open sourced it together. I was just wondering what the thinking is for the next versions of the app and the website and stuff like that.
So we, as we are here now, are already part of this 2.5-year project. As you might have seen at the beginning, the timeline, and we did the fundraising already for Erasmus Plus money. So the development is part of the project, but this project is, as I said, under Erasmus Plus. So our main goal is not only to have the thing at the end, but to educate ourselves in a way to be actually able to do something simple ourselves, to have something sustainable which wouldn't crash and be out of hands totally. So we are even not sure if we are going to have website and app. That's a question. We call it digital space, or we have these magical words, and it might at the end just be the website which would be well responsive, is it the right word? I'm not very technical, so don't ask me about technical details, but it could be just an icon on your phone, and it might not be offline. We will see what we can do, and we are right at the beginning, so we are collecting the input from the community, what they would like, and then later we see what is feasible. So we have 4 partners in the project, each responsible for his hair or our on part of the project, and the idea is to have at the beginning people trying to build their own simple website, and based on that we follow and we see what we can do later. This is what actually the hackathon is meant for. So it's going to be very different process than the last time. It's it's a community project. Is this enough of an answer to you?
Yeah, I was just curious if there was already some plan for how.
It might be actually much simpler, and that's probably where we are heading to. But for us, the important aspect is cooperation and co-creation. That's even the process is as important as the product.
Yeah, and to add to that, we are hiring experts in the process. It's a lot less how you say, we at least have some money now. And that already makes it a lot different from the last time, I think.
Yeah, well, actually, if you are interested and you maybe didn't hear before because you are not part of the community chat, we fundraised 400,000 euro. But again, it's not just for the app, but there are conferences in between meetings, that's eating a big part of the budget, the cooperation itself.
Yeah. This link will stay available because I don't want to go over the time. Ellen, I'm coming to you quick, but I'll first move. If you go to page 3, that is the positive question about the website. I'll do that one first, just so we can collect as many ideas as we can about what we want, and then we can go to what we don't want. So if you go to page 3, up here, page 3, you can add sticky notes about what we want from a new website. What is something that you're missing? What do you think we can change? Ellen.
Yes,
No?
I was thinking of something because in the research on all this, okay, no, go back to the beginning. Because when you did your presentation, you said that it was good that this was still available offline. And I feel like this was very 2014 requirement, and that maybe in the research, this should be added, like about how people
usually pay, how much they usually pay abroad, how much Wi-Fi they can get, and so on. And
Yeah.
if really we need to have it offline available, or if like if you are from China or from Canada, how much you would pay, like is it really expensive? Because I don't know, I have no idea, because now in Europe we can pay the same as in our country in any other European country, but
Yeah.
And
the reason I said
this this was very 2014, and I
Yeah.
would like to know if this has changed or not. And this
Yeah.
will maybe make us do some choices. And I had never thought about, not never, I hadn't thought about this since the beginning of the project, and I'm sharing this now.
Yeah, no, it's great. Also, can you also write it down? So in one of the app pages. The reason I said that, but you're right, we should research this, is because the app was used outside of Europe so much. But maybe people from outside of Europe also buy very cheap 4G now when they come to Europe. So that's a good thing to research for sure.
Yes, because I saw someone added a sticky note, like a sticky note about like being available on like low battery, an app using a few battery, and I think that's, I feel like it's more accurate than nowadays, that you get low battery very fast than it used to, or I have worst phones, I don't know, but this is a regular issue. And I don't know if this can match all together. I don't know, I'm not a technical person.
But I think the offline stuff makes the battery performance better. So I would keep the offline stuff if possible.
Yeah. That's a good addition as well. I'm writing stuff down also when you see me looking down. Adrian?
So I just wanted to add, actually, Bram said the opposite. Bram was the previous person that was doing the website. And well, it was a little bit what Pavel said, is nowadays, I think it was Pavel, that, oh no, sorry, I think it was Edis on the chat, never mind. That back then, roaming didn't really exist or was quite expensive. And nowadays, in Europe, roaming it's pretty accessible. So maybe the offline version, according to Bram, should not exist, should not need to exist anymore, because everyone has access to internet anyway very quickly, or there's Wi-Fi somewhere. But yeah, I mean, there are ideas we need to discuss.
Yeah, it's a good point to write down. I'm giving 1 more minute for this topic. Again, if the time's too short, you can come back to it.
Yeah, all of these sticky notes could have their own discussion on them. So
yeah,
there's a lot of follow-up needed.
Definitely, but luckily it's a 2.5-year project. So I'm very happy, because this was for sure what this first meeting was all about, to collect ideas and to see how we move forward.
The donation button was already in the last one, I think.
Yeah, we have it, I think. I'm saying I think, but we know.
Wait, who wrote bigger Google map? What does that mean?
I don't know.
That was mine. I think I love maps, as you know, because we're in this project. But like on a website of a initiative that has a lot of maps all over Europe, I think it's nice that the Google Map part on the website can have a bigger feature, so that we can see where all the beautiful maps are, that you can see them in relation to the world, to Europe, where the maps are all. So I think the current Google Map on the website is rather small. We can make it bigger.
At least a bit nicer looking, maybe also. Okay, we're on schedule. Let's go. We go to what we don't want from the app. So that's the second sheet. So what do we not want anymore? Or what do we not, what didn't we have and we shouldn't include as well? Like, what do we never want? That's fine too. Yeah, crashes is fair. Okay, I will give you a few minutes. It's a good point, actually.
I just want to make one small comment. Arna touched on it earlier. I saw you just put the hard to put maps on it. Sticky note. Like, it was never communicated to us that, or to me at least, that some people would have preferred, for instance, to use CSVs. And in the next version, it should be made clear to you guys that are making the maps, like changes like that are not hard to incorporate. If there's something that's costing the map developers a lot of time, then there needs to be more back and forth with the people making the app. And,
of course.
And the people making the maps. I didn't realize that that was a sticking point, because that, like I said, it's something that could have easily been supported.
Yeah, but I agree. And we don't, we're not here to say, oh, this was super bad. Definitely not. But maybe it was also just because it was extra work, and as Arne said, it wasn't communicated when people started to make a map that they also had to do the app, and that's why they found it hard. I'm really because Arne also said in the end it wasn't really that hard to fill it. But it's something to keep in mind. How do we make it as easy as possible and also communicate it to the people who built the app on how we want that? Because I don't think that was part of the briefing. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. And the other thing I think Arne also mentioned was like certain information was hard to find. I mean, I don't think there's a big downside. This is sort of a high level decision needs to be made. Like why not allow the map makers to leave off opening times, if it's like a park or something, right?
Yeah.
Then, or to leave off a picture. Maybe there's some place it's hard to get a picture or you're not allowed to take a picture of, then there shouldn't be a hard constraint to have a picture of everything. It would be easier to get the app versions up and running, right? If we just said, okay, you can publish the stuff, don't worry about missing fields or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Eva?
I'm wondering, is here someone who actually never, or maybe even with one edition, uploaded his paper map on into the application, the content? And if yes, why? Is there someone?
You mean who was there when the app was there, but they didn't fill it?
In the past, it happened that more than half of the cities that actually published the paper maps never used the app because they never find the time probably, or maybe there was other motivation, I don't know, to not use it. So I was wondering if maybe someone from with this experience is here to tell us why.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know one.
That's something to also ask, like at least 1 or 2 cities why they didn't.
Yeah, it's good for the research. Here's looking at you, Pascal. And then I'm moving on. So we stop in time for the rugby match. Or is it? Yeah, rugby. Yeah. The last thing I would like to ask you is, what do we not want from a new website? Which is, why is this? Oh, 1 sec. It's the 4th page. So the last question I'm asking you is if you can put your input on that here. Ads again, that's good. Okay, I'm giving it 1 more minute before we round up.
Is there another space where to like bring in ideas or something, or
Definitely.
like a concept or
Sorry, say again?
like a concept or something?
I don't know what a concept is.
I don't know. I just had an idea. I don't know if it's stupid or not, but
Oh, you mean you want to bring in a concept? Sorry.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely you can either tell me, or you can tell the whole group now, or you can send it in if you want to take some writing.
I don't know if you're familiar with kind of geocaching things.
Yeah.
So basically something similar, but like digital, when like including in the app, when you maybe visit a specific place or like one place, all the places of our maps, you can, yeah, or you get the option to post something which the next one can see. So you, I don't know, you can post a meme or something, or make a selfie from the place and put it there if you want to. And then the next one sees, oh, like this photo is from last week. There was someone here. So
yeah, that's
something
actually
like that.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like maybe you get at the bottom like the logo or something. So maybe people post on social media like, oh, how what I found, something like that. So also like some advertisement stuff over this site. So
Yeah,
That's a great
that's actually
idea.
great.
It could
Yeah.
be also maybe connected with Instagram. So when you post Instagram or something else, like some other app photo, and set the localization with a place in the city, then maybe it could show up in the bottom of the website. But I don't know if that's technically possible, but
Right now we're still dreaming,
maybe
so
maybe just one
Yeah.
place, like the main sightseeing thing in the city or something, or like if you want to put it on every place that there is on the map, I don't know, but it's like an idea that
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is to implement into the app, but that's something that would be nice for the app that you cannot do on the paper card, right? So
yeah,
and I also
yes,
like this
definitely.
kind of interaction between the people who are using the map. So
Yeah,
With
for sure.
people posting things online, there's always a possibility of them posting things that shouldn't be there. And
That is true.
I know it's
we
not
are responsible for the data that is uploaded to our apps and websites. So that's, of course, it's a great idea if it works really nice, but it's also a huge, huge danger.
Yeah.
And without proper validation of the input from users, it's really dangerous.
Yeah, when you put something on the Play Store, if there is user input, you have to go through a questionnaire, and Google will ask you if you say like, "Oh, is this viewable by minors, for instance? Can a minor use this app?" If you say yes, then it's like, okay, then you need to have data protections in place. You need to submit some like data privacy policy to them to even get it on the Play Store. So there's I don't know, does anybody here still have access to the Play Store, or how did you get the statistics for like downloads and stuff?
Adrian, you got those.
I got them from Nicolas Marichal and from Bram.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's still in the Play Store console. Like in principle, we could still push the old version of the app up to the Play Store. And when I pulled it down, like I periodically still get emails from Google. It's like, hey, there's been a change to the Play Store. If your app is still it's still like online, but it's not visible. Basically, that's the status of it right now. It's not published, is what it's called. And I periodically get emails like, oh, keep in mind, there's this new privacy policy you'll need to abide by. And then it's like, hey, by the way, we have a new policy. Kids under blah, blah, blah aren't allowed to do this. Does your app do this? You need to submit this type of form if you want to republish the app. So
yeah,
it's a nice idea, but like getting it through the Play Store is really going to be tricky. And I assume it's the same on the iPhone side.
Yeah, we can definitely thank you for all the input. It's a very good thing to keep in mind because we don't want to do any weird privacy breaches, but it is a good starting point to think what maybe we can do.
I wanted
Then
to say,
Marina?
so sorry to jump in, but I totally hear about the danger of allowing people to upload some stuff. But what I like with the idea is that it's very connected to what we call in the application that we wrote. We like thought, like we budgeted some money for what we call extra features. That would be something that would reflect the spirit of the Use It project, something fun that would allow people to contribute or to have a little quiz or a challenge or something interactive that you would have in the map that would make it more fun and personal, like Use It, and not just, for seeing what places are in or not. So we should definitely be careful with the privacy and with the danger that you've just mentioned, Matt. But there is, I hope, space for something fun and something, more personal, I would say, like something very Use It. I'm not sure if I'm clear, but we really thought about this extra feature.
Yeah. Thank
you. And it still has to be designed and think together.
Yeah.
What will it be?
Yeah. That direction I think is generally fine. Like us putting new stuff into the app, like, hey, here's a quiz. But the other direction is problematic when you let users upload data. That's like the really dicey area, because then you don't know what they're uploading, and especially if that's going to be viewed
Yeah, I see.
by other people, that's problem. But what you said, like about like a quiz or whatever, or like, I don't know, it could be a geocache, as long as we're the ones who are doing it, then that shouldn't be a problem. But if it's like the users uploading, that's going to be a big problem.
I'm going to have to quit, unfortunately, even though there's a lot to talk about. And we will in the upcoming 2.5 years. I posted a link in the chat with an evaluation form. If you have 5 minutes, please fill it in. It really helps us. And it is a place where you can tell us what other stuff within the project you are interested in, so we can contact you about it. And it really helps us also to organize the next seminars even better. So, Matt, Arne, Pavel, thank you so much for your time to help us kickstart this project. And to all of you, please don't be a stranger. We really need you. And if there's anything, email us. You all know how to reach me, at least, and probably also the others. So, thank you, and see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Very good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina.
Bye bye.